So let's talk about it, right? Marathon. So a bunch of people played Marathon, you know, the new Bungie game that people are working on apparently. And well, I don't know anything about it, right? I know it's an old IP, but they're kind of like rebranding the IP. A door giveaway. I don't even have a door. I don't even have a door over here. I just have whatever that shit is over there. A random imaginary block of a wall there. No, I don't know anything about Hunt's Showdown, but I'm curious to see what this is all about. What is this all about?
Over a week ago, I had the opportunity to go to Bungie's studio offices in Washington State and actually try Marathon for myself. I played it over the course of 2 days, roughly 7 to 8 hours total.
Okay.
And after all of that, I gotta be honest, I had a good time. And I wasn't sure I would, considering this was introduced to me as a hero-based extraction shooter with PvPvE elements.
I'm not playing it. That's not my that genre. I don't like that genre. So extraction shooters are not my type of thing. So.
And it's also session based. Like, there were a lot of things that when I heard it, it just didn't seem to make sense, and I wasn't sure how they were going to click together. But having played the game myself, I'm actually kind of impressed. It actually is quite fun. It's really well done and put together for what it is right now, which is an alpha. And I'm going to tell you all about it in this video. Quick little disclosure,
Okay.
Everything I'm going to be showing you was captured on the second day.
I'm not really
I
a
was
huge
allowed to
fan of
film
the
one
look of it,
the
to be
maps
honest.
that we were given access to. And because this is an alpha, there's a lot of things that are work in progress still. Menu items, UI elements, even like some specific weapon effects and things are not finished yet. So just be aware of that. What you're seeing is very much in development footage. So don't like jump to conclusions that this is the launch version. It should and will look significantly different when it launches. Hopefully all in good ways, but I just want to be clear about that. Having said that, I also want to say thank you to Bungie for the opportunity to try the game early.
I heard
And
about
also want
that.
to let you know
Yeah, I
that
heard
as we
about
go through
that.
this video,
That it
I'm
shut
going to be
down.
mentioning a lot of stuff that, of course, we were told directly by them, but also that I found out from like the game director who had lunch with us, from some of the senior designers who had lunch with us at our table as well. It was a really cool experience to just be able to ask the game director himself, like, hey, why does this effect work this way? Why does this not work? Why can I not take this item from here and put it over here? And then to actually get the answer in real time. So,
well, we only
gonna
saw
talk
like
about all of
what,
this
one or
stuff.
two guns
Just
so
know
far.
I've taken
I don't know
many
if he's gonna show. I
copious
don't know if he's gonna
notes,
show more
that
guns.
she
It would be pretty
provided
cool to
me
see more guns,
for
to be
us
honest.
take notes in, because I think they knew that's what was going to happen. And also, when we showed up at the studio, we had to lock our phones into these metal lockers in the lobby. So from the moment we
Citadel
walked
is the
in at,
actual
like,
spiritual
9 a.m.
successor to
until we
Marathon.
left at like 6 or
I
7
see.
p.m. We just
Yeah, because
didn't
they're
have our
making what? They're making like a battle royale slash extraction shooter, or is it just, or did they drop the battle royale and it's just an extraction shooter? I don't even know anymore.
phones and we're totally isolated, which was honestly kind of cool.
People got mixed views on Marathon from what I've seen.
But having said all of this, we're gonna get into it.
Interesting.
I'm gonna show you some gameplay and explain first and foremost how the game actually works, what you'll be doing moment to moment, and then we're gonna talk about some of the things that
For nostalgia
I don't
reasons,
like,
that's the
and
reason
some of
why
the things I
Umler.
really do like, and then we're gonna wrap it all up with a discussion over the pricing. Yes, cosmetics, monetization, all of that stuff, which I did ask them about a lot. So buckle up, buckaroo, here we go. The basic gameplay loop of Marathon is as follows. When you load into a match from the main menu, you start by selecting your hero. It's my understanding that at launch, there will be 6 heroes for you to choose from. We had access to 4 of them.
Wait, there's only going to be 6 heroes on launch? That's going to get boring really fast, to be honest. It actually is going to get really boring pretty quickly if they don't add at least like 10 different heroes at least.
And they all have their own different playstyles associated with them. We'll go through these in more detail later because I think they do need a good amount of adjustment.
Oh yeah, that's true. Is this free to play, or are they going to charge for this? I actually didn't look into that actually. Is this actually going to be, you got to buy this one? They need to add Godzilla? No, it's not Godzilla, you crazy person. Those are free ones. The game is also not free to play. Oh, there's no way this game is surviving. If this is an extraction shooter, right? And it only has like, if they say there's only going to be like six or 7 heroes or so, and you're paying, you know, you're paying $60 or $70 for this shit, this game is not surviving at all.
All I will say is that Locust is your brute class character. He's all about getting into the action, confronting enemies head on, and he even has an ultimate that launches rockets, which should explain just exactly how you're supposed to play this guy. Glitch is a character that's all about speed. She has different abilities and even
So Octane from, so it's Octane from fucking Apex. Okay.
ultimate that allows her to move very, very quickly. She's all about flanking and playing tactically. Void was my main for most of my playtime after trying the other characters, and he has a bunch of abilities that allow him to pop invisibility, throw smoke grenades down.
That's basically that one girl, that one black chick or so from Apex, mixed with Wraith from Apex.
Etc, etc. And then there's Blackbird, who is basically this game's version of Bloodhound, with all sorts of abilities that allow them to scan the environment and see which types of enemies are where. And
that's literally the girl, that's that one sniper girl from Apex, straight up. That's literally straight up the girl from Apex. These are literally the characters from Apex. What the fuck? Are they just copying? Are they just copying Apex?
This was the first thing that was kind of jarring to me, which is that I didn't expect this, but Marathon is much more similar to Apex Legends.
I love it how he just admitted it, or so. I was like, yeah, fucking Marathon is like the same as Apex. I was just like, I did not watch this video. Okay, all right. I was just like, wait a second. The guy, how he's explaining it, I was like, wait a second. These are fucking heroes from Apex. What the fuck am I listening to?
Than I thought it would be. Like everything from the movement to some of the gunplay
What the fuck?
to the heroes themselves all take heavy inspiration from Apex characters. And
Okay. So basically, they copied Apex's homework, but then like Apex was like, yeah, you can copy our homework, but just change it up a little bit. So Bungie decided to copy them, change up a lot of things, and then on top of that, it's not free to play. They're actually going to charge you for this game. Interesting. I understand why this game is not free to play. You got to remember, Bungie is not in good terms with Sony. They have to make money. You're right. Do you think Sony green? Oh wait, I'm wondering from a while back. Remember that Sony had like, what was it, 12 projects or so, 12 or 10 projects for live services games. Do you think this was part of that agreement or so for the live service games? I'm actually very curious. This could probably be part of that actually, and that's probably the reason why they're going to charge this. Because we all know Concord was part of that 12 or 10 games for live service games, but it shut down immediately. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one was also part of that list actually from a while back. Unless this game can compete with Tarkov, this game will not survive. Yeah, especially if they're going to, depending on the chart. If they charge $30, I guess, but I don't really I don't think I see the value in it still. But if they charge more than like $30, this game is going to die. Like straight up, this game will die. There's no way this game would survive.
Apex design decisions, even down to the shielding mechanic, which is basically identical.
What?
And don't get me wrong, I'm here for it. I'm totally okay that like Locust shares an ultimate basically with Valkyrie in Apex, and Glitch is basically Octane, and Blackbird is basically Bloodhound. Like that's all totally fine. I like Apex a lot, and it's really sad to see what's happened to it recently, but I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Marathon of all games to scratch an Apex Legends itch that I was having.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will, but if you liked Apex, I think you'll actually really dig what they're doing here in Marathon. Once you've selected your hero based on the abilities and also stats that they have, because they do have unique stats for each of them, you will then build out your loadout like in any other extraction shooter. You choose which guns, which backpacks, which shields, which healing.
If they charge it more than $30, no one's gonna buy it. It has to be $30 or less. $20 would be the sweetest spot. $30 is like, all right, that's fine. I'll give it a try. More than that, nope.
packs you want to bring with you. All of these have different values and ranks, so you know when you go into a match whether you're bringing roughly 3,000 credits worth of items or if you're bringing in nothing more than a pistol and a knife, in which case you're bringing in maybe 100 credits worth of items. This is very core to extraction shooters just in concept. They want you to always be questioning whether or not you should bring more stuff to be better prepared for engagements, even though that means that you also will have more stuff to lose if you lose that engagement even still. So it's a constant balancing act of like, do I bring that? I love my sniper rifle, but if I bring it and we die, I'm gonna lose it forever. That's gonna suck. So you're always going back and forth and considering that. And I mean, that really is at the core of this. And it's at the core of it for all players, because if you happen to be the one doing the killing and you take out another team, you get all of their stuff if you want it. You pick it up and carry it out with you. So for their really bad day, you get a really good day, but it's true both ways, you know? It's, again, at the core of extraction
Yeah, it's
shooters,
an extraction shooter. Yeah.
here. Once you have your loadout, you select the map that you want to play in. Again, I only have footage of one map, but there will, at least in theory, be 3 maps at launch. They told us the size of these maps is pretty well set, but they are determining still and balancing still how many teams are going to start each match together. One of the smaller maps, they said there might be as few as 3 or 4 teams that start that match.
3 or 4 teams. So it's 3 or 4 teams of 3. 9 people on a small map? What is this, a multiplayer map? What? I'm trying to like picture it in my head right now. What? That's weird. I don't think this game will have a hub world / place. You already know Destiny fans are not a fan of that. No, yeah.
On that map. Other maps, they said there could be as many as 6 to 8 teams. However,
6 to 8. Why does that feel a little bit smaller than usual? How many Chad, I'm curious. For people who play Tarkov, right? How many teams are usually on the map or so on Tarkov? There's also AI in the maps. Okay. But like how much is usually on a map or so when it comes to Tarkov? Does anyone know by any chance? Or any extraction shooter? You know, can you guys tell me information or so? Like usually how many people are usually on a map or so? Like around estimate basis? I'm just curious. Because it feels like it's a little bit small though. That's very little people, you know, especially for a map like that.
this is still being balanced, so it could change after the closed alpha playtests that they do with the public. It could also change a week before launch. We don't know. But once you've selected the map that you want to drop into, you also will select which faction quests you want to complete. These are optional secondary objectives to just extracting, and they can be completed to increase your reputation with factions. These factions are basically like individual vendors, if you think of it that way, for skills and then also items, and they provide long-term permanent improvements to your account that will carry over whether or not you have gear that travels with you. You could lose everything you have in terms of like the vault and gear and still carry these improvements over. And they could be things like improving stamina management. They could be things like having the ability to buy a better backpack in the game shop with credits, things like that. So there's a reason to complete these faction quests, and it allows you to focus on specific objectives in those matches besides just survive for a little bit, get some stuff, and get out before the timer runs out. Once you've done that, you load into the map with you and your team. They said they do plan on allowing players to go in solo if they want. You could go in with nothing but a knife and just you, no teammates or anything, and they want you to be allowed to do that. It's incredibly difficult. They said that that's not recommended.
Yeah, they need more.
But it is something.
Okay, so number one, right? The problem that I have with this game, they're charging money for this game, right? There's only 3 maps, which is apparently small. I would assume they're gonna do small, medium, and large, or smaller, medium? Question mark. I have no idea. And then there's only like 6 to 7 heroes to begin with. I think it's going to get. It's gonna be stale like really fast, you know. especially if these like specific like quests, right? Let's say for example, you have map A, B, and C, right? But then the quest is telling you like, oh, you need to get a certain material from a certain enemy, right? So you're gonna have to go to map A, right? Because they only spawn in like map A, right? So specific quests are gonna be like, you're gonna need to go here. Whether you like it or not, you have to go into this map. Or you have to go to map C, you know, because you gotta extract, you know, you got some side quest or so, you know, to extract something from here. So you gotta go to C, you know. I can see it could get boring pretty if it's like a weekly, if it's like a weekly mission and daily missions or so, right? I can definitely see it getting boring pretty fast, actually, in my personal opinion.
They will let you do if you see fit. It's also my understanding that they will let you go in with a partial team. You basically just turn off the team fill option. So you could go in duos as well. But to be clear, you will be playing against other 3-player teams. There's not like a duos mode and a solos mode. As of right now, the entire game is balanced around trios. Once you're in the match, everybody starts at the same time on randomized points on the map. There is a 25-minute timer and you have until then to extract. If you don't extract by the end of that 25 minutes, what happens is all of the extraction points for individual teams, which have their own extraction points throughout the map, they all get cleared, and there's only one extraction point at the center of the map for everybody that still remains to get out of. And it's also overrun with like android enemies and world hazards and stuff. So it's incredibly difficult to get out at that point. But
So then it does become a battle royale then. Because it kind of like forces everybody to like, you know, small maps and characters on top of like that grinding too. This game won't have many players. Doing quests in an extraction shooter sounds stressful. It's gonna if it's mandatory, right? If the quests are mandatory, because he said earlier, right, that you can access like other stuff or so using those points because you get credits, right, by doing these quests, right? So you're gonna have to do it in order for you to buy stuff from the store that's in the in-game shop. Like let's say for like abilities or like whatever, you know, enhancements or whatnot, right? You're gonna have to do it in order to buy those shit in the store. But I'm curious, is like they can easily monetize this too as well, you know?
it is still technically possible. What do you do in these 25 minutes though? Well, you explore the map, you look for other teams, or not, maybe you avoid other teams. But your goal is to complete those faction quest objectives and to collect as much cool stuff as possible and get out with it. Some teams will no doubt be all about the action, chasing down other teams and clearing them to take their stuff, while other teams I can imagine playing very stealthily. You see, they allow you to take up to 3. I mean, you could have an entire team of just Void characters, for example, who have abilities to like go invisible, pop smoke grenades, things like that. Or if you want to just go run and gunning, you could all run with Locust, who has a bunch of combat focused abilities where you just charge at enemy teams and clear them that way. It's up to the players to decide, but if you want to take 3 of the same exact character.
Okay. We all know how the player base, we all know a good majority of the player base is going to be, right? These are people that are playing it in a private, you know, controlled environment, right? But when you release this game to the public, right? To the public people, I already know how people are. There's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be running and gunning to kill the other teams. That's probably what's going to happen most of the time, you know? Oh, yeah. I know for a fact that a lot of FPS people are going to be playing this. But I know for a fact there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go straight running and gunning and just kill people. You know, especially on the small map that has only like 4 to 3 parties on the map. You know for a fact one of those party members are just easily just going to go like, you know... Yeah, there's probably going to be meta teams of killing everyone else. There's probably going to be one specific team or like a bunch of people that 3-man squad and just bulldoze and just kill everyone else, you know, without even bothering grabbing their loot, you know?
You can do that. And that leads to really interesting sort of asymmetric
I can see the player base
encounters where maybe
abusing,
you have a
you know,
team of
abusing,
locusts
you
who
know,
are
this
just
playstyle and
charging
just
down
killing people,
shooting
you know?
at them, trying to kill them that way. And then on the receiving end is a team of voids, and they all pop invisibility and sneak away, leaving them wandering through a building looking for the voids when they're long gone, having extracted a few minutes ago. And I honestly really like it. I do think that balancing these characters is going to be a challenge, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
That's
because
true.
One of the characters I think is just straight up broken right now, but they are actively balancing it as we speak. So by the time they do play tests, it might not even be an issue. But assuming you do get away from that other team that's hunting you down, you extract out of a set objective point, and then you go back to the main menu. You
Yeah,
you
that's probably what's gonna happen
you
or
sell
so.
off the items you don't need, and you buy new items that you do need, or maybe you complete new faction quests that unlock new things in the shop for you to build out your loadout even better. And then the cycle repeats. You select maybe the same map or a different map, and you just change your loadout a little bit and you go back in. It's pretty straightforward, and it's exactly what you would expect if you are familiar with extraction shooters. But perhaps if you're not familiar with extraction shooters, I should clarify what happens if you do not extract. If that team of locusts chased you down and wiped your entire team, you're just dead. Game over, Red Rover.
Yeah.
All of your stuff in your backpack,
I already know about
your
this already.
guns, all of that stuff, it's all gone forever. Either the other team will take it, or if they extract leaving stuff in these duffel bags that drop on your body, it's just gone. It clears out when the server resets and you never get it back. And this is at its core the bread and butter of extraction shooters. The idea that for one team, they can have the highlight.
I'm not really a
evening
huge fan of
play
extraction
session. Like,
shooters
they're playing for 3
personally.
hours. This one match could be the highlight of all of it that makes that night worth it for them. If they kill that one team that had a purple sniper rifle, all these crazy attachments, they were extracting with a super valuable specimen of some sort that's going to be worth 2,000 credits by itself, and you loot them, you take it, you extract, it's the high point of your night. But it's also the low point of their night. Like the receiving end of that, they're not happy. They lost their purple sniper rifle. They lost their super valuable specimen. They're having a terrible night at that point. So it's always this sort of tug of war of keeping players happy.
Yeah, but I'm not really a
because
huge
they're
fan of
getting
it though.
rewarded for doing well, and then also hoping that they don't rage quit when they lose something they really, really valued. How you balance that is, I mean, it's well above my pay grade, and they're trying to figure that out as we speak at Bungie, balancing this out. But there's a reason why people really like extraction shooters, because
there's no way of balancing something like that out, you know?
when it works, that high point is worth 10 low points. And that
it's super windy
moment where
outside,
you
actually.
find the amazingly powerful weapon that somebody was carrying that they loved and cherished so much that they lost because you sniped them out of nowhere. That moment for you is worth 10 rounds where you lose a ton of stuff. That's at least the hope. That's the goal. I will say, though, that having played this game a good amount over 2 days, it's very easy to spiral quickly. The game doesn't totally depend on better loot winning every single encounter. This isn't like in Apex, for example, where if you run into somebody with a Kraber who can snipe relatively well, you're just screwed. You're just not going to win that unless you can push them or something. It's not like that, but having better shields or something, or better gear, more healing items and things like that is a game changer. I mean, it actually does make that team far more difficult to wipe. And as a
So you're telling me if you have a gold weapon, right? Gold weapon with gold attachments, but there's someone who has, like, let's say, for example, a red shield from Apex Legends, right? So you're telling me that gold weapon isn't gonna quickly annihilate that red shield person? So basically, like, gold loot is kind of like, they're okay, but they're not, like, insanely, you know, crazy or anything like that? Okay, I guess. I was trying to post the alpha instructions in the Discord, but those wanted to try it out for free.
As a result, if you start to spiral and lose 1 match and then 2 match, and then you're like, okay, am I tilted right now? I'm gonna not bring anything but a starter pistol. And you go into the matches and you have no healing, no shield, no nothing, because you don't want to potentially lose it.
Yeah.
You're just gonna keep getting curb stomped by the people that are bringing that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, again, you could go into a match, get the jump on somebody, take their stuff, and you go from rags to riches in 5 minutes. And that's a really significant high point for players, I'm sure. But
Yeah,
it's,
but then like your shitty pistol is gonna be shit against someone who has like, let's say for example, a red shield, right? They have the highest fucking tier or so with like the armor and everything, right? You're shooting at them with your like your tier 1 gray pistol, right? And you're not even doing any, barely even doing any fucking damage. But then that person who has like, you know, who has like a gold weapon or so, maxed out with the stats and like maxed attachments and everything, fucking obliterate you easily because you didn't bring any shit with you. And then that would probably like piss you off even more, you know, because you can't do anything, you know. All these people have like high tier shit, but you have to come in there with nothing because you kept losing consistently, you know.
it's really tough to balance the game that way, because you want to reward them for having better gear and better loot and for risking that by bringing it into the match. But you also want to reward players who go in there and are risking less, but are just, you know, going into a more difficult situation and hoping that they can make something of it. It's
So in
very
short,
difficult
play
to
dirty.
balance. There's no question about that. But I will say this game, it was clear that it's easy to spiral. There is one way I can think of, right, that they can balance this, right? Quote unquote balance this, right? They should make a what they should do, right? This is my suggestion. This is like literally my suggestion. I don't know what you guys think specifically, right? I don't play extraction shooter, so I don't know the genre itself, right? Why not just make a PvE mode where you can get like certain tiers of loot, right? Only to a certain tier, right? Let's say for like maybe a blue, and then like there's a low percentage of getting a purple or something, right? And then like you can extract with that loot, and then you can take that same loot into the PvP section, and then in the PvP section you can get that higher tier loot, like the yellow, the purple, and the gold, and the orange, you know, the orange loot, you know. But it's a lot more riskier because it's more PvP focused, you know. That's what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is the whole thing of balancing it out. You know, remember what he said before is like, oh, if you started losing consistently, you know, and you're bringing in a gray pistol or so, you're not bringing any heals, you're not bringing any armor, you're not bringing anything, you know. But then you go in there and try to loot some shit. But then the other teams or so having like, yeah, it's like a single player mode, kind of like basically like a single player mode. Just have just a PvE focus, right? That has only like a certain tier of loot, right? Maybe it's a blue or whatever, you know. Blue would be the highest, you know, rarity or so, right? And then in the PvP section, you can get up to like the purple, the legendary, and then the fucking, you know, all this other, that specific PvP, which is more high risk, high reward type of thing, you know. Like you can keep losing like your purples, your oranges, your yellows, and all this other shit, you know. I guess like that's kind of like the best way to kind of do it, like kind of like soften the blow a little bit, you know. the team sitting behind us, and I will not mention who was in that team because I guarantee you know some of them, but they started spiraling pretty hard at
Yeah,
one
but that's Tarkov. Tarkov is like, you know, doing everything's by paywall, so
point on the first day.
double
They said they
grinding
lost,
time.
like,
We all know that people are gonna be double grinding. There's gonna be a diehard fan for this, so hey King.
8 matches in a row, and they were just not really having that much fun, frankly.
See, I told
It
you.
just kept getting worse
See?
and worse and worse.
See?
All the teams they were playing were bringing good items with them, and they were going in with literally nothing but like knives and
Yep.
daggers.
There you go.
And they were getting curb stomped every single time.
Yep.
They encountered another team, unless they got really lucky with loot drops immediately. Maybe it's a skill issue, maybe it's not. But either way, I just want to bring that up, that it is a problem that's in most extraction shooters,
Yeah.
that tilting,
Yeah.
spiraling thing. And it's present here as well, for sure. But all I can say is that for me, I actually had a really good time with the game. Again, we played it for 2 days, and I would play more of it right now if I was given the option, which I cannot say for every game I've done a preview event for. I've told some people about this, but I did a preview event for Skull and Bones back in the day, and at that preview event, they gave us access to the game remotely, where we played it through like cloud whatever streaming, and we played it for like 5 hours, and after like a solid 90 minutes, even the hosts of the gameplay session, like the PR people or whatever, were bored out of their minds, and we're like, so I guess we could do Q&A or so. Do you want to do the quest again? Because there's like 3 quests repeated over and over. People were miserable and very, very bored. That was not the case at this one for Marathon. People are having a really good time, and again, if I could play more of it now, I would in an instant. I had a good time. And maybe it's just because it reminded me so much of Apex Legends, surprisingly enough.
But that's the problem.
I did have a good time.
But that's
and
the
I think
problem,
that
though.
really is the bellwether for most of these games.
It's just literally basically a copy of Apex Legends, you know, without much originality, basically. That's the problem.
It's either fun or it's not, and I had fun. But one thing I do want to bring up is the fact that this game, because
Just
it
don't
is
play the
balanced around
game.
3
I'm not
player
gonna play
teams,
it.
it is very dependent on the team you're bringing. I happen to be playing with 2 wonderful other content creators, Waylon, who does a lot of Rust content, you can look him up.
Yeah, you have to wait
Super
for the honeymoon
incredibly nice
phase
guy.
to like
And also
die
Natasha,
off, you
who
know?
is a streamer that covers like a lot of Call of Duty stuff. Also, very talented and skilled gamer that basically carried us. And we had a great time. We had relatively good chemistry and dynamics as a team.
It's just Apex Legends, the extraction shooter. That's basically what it is.
Like Call of Duty, which is not how you play this game at all. It's much slower, more tactical, more methodical. But once it clicked for us, we actually had a lot of synergy and it worked well. And the reason I bring this up,
damn, they were bored of their own game. The build that was a game. No, it was the Skull and Bones one. The Skull and Bones one was boring. Not that one. Not this one.
Hey Supreme King Jam, thanks for the 4 months of support. Nyaru and I are here to game with you.
Hey.
Let's dominate the quests ahead and have a
Hey
blast
Supreme,
together.
thank you for the
Your
for
presence
the
makes
tier 1 or
gaming world
so for the
brighter.
4 months. Welcome.
Welcome back,
is because
Supreme
if
King
you're
Jam,
trying to
with
match
4
with
months of
randoms
support.
in this game, I think
Thanks
that
for the
could
shout
be
out. Nyaru and I are
God
ready
damn
to
it,
game on
Berchan, I
with you.
swear.
Let's conquer new challenges and have a blast together.
I need to fix Berchan.
kind of miserable. Like, I will just be honest, it's not the easiest game to just jump into with different play styles. You have to all kind of make concessions.
I
and
swear.
meet each other where they're at and work together very actively. Playing with randoms, at least right now, I think would be quite difficult.
Yeah,
So
playing
we'll
with
see if
randoms
they
is
can improve,
definitely
like communication systems, or maybe there's like a ranked system that can help you get match made with better people. But it's, as of right now, probably not a game you'd want to fill with randoms. And yes, I will talk more about ranked in a couple of minutes because they did bring that up a couple of times. Yes, a ranked mode in an extraction shooter. What does that even mean? I'll tell you the little that they could tell me, but again, we'll get to that in just a minute. But now we'll get to the point where I'll talk about some of my notes and some of the things I liked and didn't like and that I hope that they change and make improvements towards. To be clear, I've already brought all of this up with game designers at
with ranked
Bungie.
mode.
So everything I'm about to go through, I've already communicated directly to them, and other people communicated the same things to them.
Are they gonna do like loot exclusive for ranked mode that you can take it into like the normal pub games? If it is, that's gonna be super broken as shit, in my personal opinion.
Everybody was kind of on the same page with most of these things. So it's not really, you know, I'm not surprising anybody, but I'm putting it in the video just so you're also aware of these things. And if you are trying to decide whether or not you want to try to sign up for the closed alpha playtest,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said.
Having a better idea of some of this stuff. The first thing, like I alluded to earlier, is the characters and heroes balance.
These are the character models? Oh, man, they wow, they kind of look generic. They look like from like an Unreal Engine store asset. I don't know why. They feel so kind of meh. Even Apex Legend characters look more interesting than this. Okay, all right. I guess people like whatever they like, I guess.
Locust is just kinda busted. I think he's probably right now the meta. Most of the really talented and skilled players that they brought in, the streamers that play mostly Tarkov, Valorant, and other competitive shooters like that, they overwhelmingly stuck with Locust.
A cheap brand of Halo, though. A cheap brand.
For at least 2 of their team slots, with usually a Blackbird as one of the support characters. Blackbird is the character that's very similar to Bloodhound in Apex Legends. They have the ability to pop like an ultimate that scans the environment for where enemies are. Also, I think probably part of the meta, most likely the best team loadout is to bring 2 Locusts and 1 Blackbird, so you get positioning information, and then the Locusts can push while the Blackbird snipes. I think that's probably the best current team lineup that you could take with you.
Wow, that sounds like AIDS as hell, to be honest. Wow, that sounds like a very AIDS as meta. Jesus Christ. I don't know if I would want to deal with that personally.
If I were offering specifics, I would just say that Locust needs to have some of his abilities tuned down. He's able to double tap shift so that he's able to sprint with basically a rocket boost at the same time, which makes
What
him
the fuck?
faster than Glitch, which is the character that's meant to go fast. He also has the ability to pop a shield, which is very, very powerful, especially against enemies that are in hallways or tight corridors. And then he also can run while doing that shield movement, which also just feels totally busted. It's like if Jibby in Apex were able to pop his shield and then just sprint at full speed towards enemies while also launching a Valkyrie rocket blast. It's just kind of crazy and I think overpowered. And it's a sentiment that was echoed by the game director himself, Joe Ziegler, who said, and I quote, at lunch, yeah, Locust is broken. Like, we were sitting at lunch and I was like taking notes on what he was saying, because he's describing like how they're going to do the ranked mode and how they want to do this and why weapon attachments work the way they do. And then he's like, yeah, and Locust right now, he's really powerful. I think he's just totally busted. I think he's broken. I was like, okay, well, there you go. I appreciate the candor, but it means that they're aware of it and they're balancing. So I'll give them that. Glitch as a character is all about speed. She's basically the Octane of this game, and I appreciate some of that. It's really fun for quick positioning to be able to sprint around, but most of her faster speed is tied to her ultimate ability, which is on like a 5-minute cooldown, which is crazy.
Jesus.
And she's not that much faster than all of the other characters, even when not ulting. In fact,
Really?
Locust can actually move further faster than her. So I feel like Glitch needs an overhaul and needs to be at least more similar in
Man, dude, it is so hard. Dude, it is so hard to see anybody in this shit. Oh my god, dude. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't like the art. I'm not really a huge fan of the art style, because look at this shit. It's so much noise. You can't even see, like, there was somebody shooting over there earlier, right? But I can't even see, I honestly can't see it. I assume it's this here, right? But I don't know if they're already dead or if they're, you know, if it's just a bag or something, or they're on the floor or something. I can't not tell whatsoever.
structure to somebody like Octane in Apex. Just something so that she's able to quickly pivot and run around enemies, and, you know, repositioning without having to wait for an ultimate ability to do it. Void, like I said earlier, was my main for most of the gameplay. Most of the footage you've been seeing is of a Void character. He's just really good. I really liked his playstyle, being able to pop invisibility, flank enemies.
I'm not a
pivot
fan
around
of the
them was
color,
really cool.
like the
He's
color
not
scheme or
totally
so, to
invisible
be
when he
honest.
pops this. You can see other teams when they use this F ability to pop the invisibility. It sort of creates like a ghostly apparition outline if you're moving too quickly while it's popped, but if you're moving very slowly while crouched, it's very difficult to see you. So it works the way that you would expect, but if you have a keen enough eye, you'll still be able to spot somebody even when they pop the invisibility. Void also has the ability to jump down from high points and slam down with a smoke grenade, voiding out the fall damage, which is quite aggressive in this game, which is also a really fun tactical choice to have. And Void also has a really powerful smoke grenade sort of thing that they can use as their ultimate ability, which is really useful if you want to cover up the extraction point while you're waiting for that to count down. And then there's Blackbird, who, like I said, is probably part of the meta just for positional awareness and enemy location awareness. Blackbird also has a little sort of robot that they can throw out that tracks enemies and then blows up next to them, which is
Wow, wow. Didn't expect a character who has a recon possessiveness uses an explosive spider thing. Okay, all right.
really useful for flushing enemies out of cover if they're trying to be really sneaky and snipey.
That's not how that's gonna be used. That's definitely not how that ability is going to be used live on the public test or so on people. That is definitely not how that's gonna be used.
Just a cool little ability that I like. But here's the thing, the characters imbalancing is relatively easy to do. They just have to turn some knobs to get it working right. And that's why they're also doing the alpha playtests, because they want to get player feedback and find out what's working and what isn't.
The problem is with an alpha feedback or so, right? The problem is, right? You're only catering to these people who get accepted into the alpha test. It's not really the public to get the most feedback about the game itself, you know? Like, if I'm gonna make an alpha test or a beta test or something, I want to get the feedback of my audience, the gamers. I want to know what you guys think of what we created, you know? Take the feedback, separate the feedbacks from trolling and actual criticism, right? and then we go down the criticism and look at all the stuff that we need to talk about, you know, the game itself. What can we change? What can we tune? You know, what do we do with this and that? You know, I don't know. Personally, I'm not really a huge fan of this because they're only these people, like the people who got accepted into the alpha, will be speaking for us. You know.
That's exactly what you would hope to see in a game like this. Instead of like a Concord where you just launch it as is and go, okay, we're done. They're actually taking that feedback from people and working from there, which I think is a great way to do it. Another thing I feel like I need to mention is that the maps feel way smaller than I thought they would be. It means that there is a lot of action in the matches. I mean, in 25 minutes, you're probably going to see just about every team that loaded into that match. But it also means that there's hardly any downtime while you're exploring maps for looting and other things. You're always in danger, which I can appreciate, but it also means the maps are small enough that you're going to get to know these really well after just a few hours on each.
Feedback for Jakogan, not enough hentai out of 10.
Most of the first day was on one map, and then the second day was on another map. And I feel like I know those maps quite well after just the like 7-8 hours we spent. And I have to wonder.
See, there's a problem right there. In 7 to 8 hours, he already knows the entire lay of the land or so for that specific map. Your other FPS players, right? They're a lot more higher skilled than he is, right? They're gonna know this map like the back of their hand, and it's probably gonna get boring really fast. There's only like 3 maps that is gonna be in this game.
Like, if we're talking about a game that's going to launch with just 3 maps, how long until they get stale? Like, especially, it's not clear what they're gonna do in terms
2 months. I give it at least 2 months. 2 months that this game is going to get bored really fast. Maybe a month and a half, maybe.
in terms of regular map updates, if they're going to be doing things to really shake it up. They didn't really have clear answers on that. They did say there is a 4th map coming that's going to be for end game players, like late game players, where the minimum, like standard loadout, they said would be purple gear, which we didn't even really see. So
I just said this, chat, I literally just said this. I'm like, but I said it like in a game mode. So wait, they're making an end game map, but like you use only purple gear, so you get orange and yellow gear above that. Pre-watch? I did not pre-watch this. So like, interesting. What do I think about this? I don't know about this personally. Do you think the end game map is gonna be ranked? Question mark. Unless like rank has like rainbow gear or something like that, you know, rainbow rarity or something. Maybe they'll have like what, gray, maybe gray, green, blue, and then purple, and then yellow, and then orange, red, and then like in ranked it'll be fucking rainbow or something. I don't even fucking know, to be honest.
So I imagine that there's going to be, you know, some challenging stuff offered too, but I will say the maps were smaller than I thought they'd be, and there's not that many of them, which is going to be interesting to see if it's enough to keep things.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No. No.
I do like how the maps change weather systems, and there's different sort of POI effects and things, to not get too spoilery on each of them. So there are things that change from map to map, but it doesn't change the fact that the buildings are the same buildings. You know, the structure is the same.
If they do another game mode, that's literally, if it is, it's literally what I just said too. That's the funniest thing about it. You know how like I told you earlier in the video about that specifically? I'm like, wow, that's literally what I said, you know?
Same structure, everything's laid out the same. Yeah, it's raining now versus sunny and clear, but it's still the same map. Another thing I want to bring up is the stamina or heat meter. This overwhelmingly was the most criticized thing at the event.
Wait. There's a stamina meter? How do I feel about that? I don't think I like it personally. That's weird. That's very weird.
In this alpha build, literally everybody I talked to was frustrated by the stam meter. It basically is their stealth meter. As you sprint, jump, slide, things like that, you build up this heat meter, and once it fills up, you have to wait for it to cool down before you can sprint again. There's certain like stat effects, grenades, different things that can affect that heat meter that enemies can deal towards you, which I think is part of the reason why it works the way that it does. But it's no doubt that this is a game where the movement feels pretty good, and there's moments where you're engaging in a fight with another team and you just want to quickly get behind this crate and reposition. But if you're out of the stamina, if your heat has risen too high, you're like, okay, I'm running. And then you get killed because like you didn't realize that the status effect had built and then you got down. It's really, really frustrating. And it's something.
Oh, that sounds like a pain in the ass, to be honest, to manage or so, this little heat meter itself.
Pretty much everybody brought up at lunch, at the feedback session that we did where they asked us like in sort of a panel interview what we thought of the game and if we had any notes. Pretty much everybody agreed that this needed significant overhauls, and it's tied to long-term progression. They did say that you can improve like how quickly the heat cools down, how much heat can build up. So they did say that there's like long-term skills and things you get from those faction quests and upgrades that will fix this and help with it, but I think right now it's just way too aggressive. To borrow a line that I heard a few people bring up, Esports Center on TikTok brought it up, and one of the developers was like, oh yeah, we've said that internally a lot. He said, all of the characters are called runners, but it feels like most of the game we're just walking.
I see, huh? They could have just made the map more eccentric to like of movement, you know? So you can, I hope they have a good matchmaking is like COD. Bro, you're gonna be walking most of the time. You're not even gonna be running in this game. They could have went with this specific game, right? They could have just done it like more movement. You know, like before in Apex or so, right? Like earlier Apexes, you can do like these crazy movement mechanics and everything and all this other shit. I think a lot of people would like that, because I know that Apex nerfed the shit out of the movement stuff. So I think if Marathon would have went towards that instead, you probably have some like crazy movement gods coming over to Marathon and kind of like doing some crazy, like, you know, like have the environment like fit, fit for the movement and stuff, you know, have some like sliding techniques and like all this other cool grinding, grind on the rail or so with your knees or something like that, I don't know, something a little bit crazy, Thank you for the follow. Welcome. That's what I'm kind of like thinking. It's just kind of like, work with the movement, have the map itself or the environment be like your skate park, and let it be the skate park for the runners, that's what I'm seeing. That's how I envision it anyways. But if this is what they envision from the game itself, well, hey man, I'm not gonna here to tell you how to do your job or anything like that, but I'm kind of questioning a little bit on the design choice of this game itself.
Which I think is fair. It feels really weird to be these like robotic, cool android humanoid creatures, but then to be walking everywhere because you overheat if you sprint. And if you get jumped, you need to have stamina so you don't risk it and you just walk everywhere. You can swap to your knife and you move faster, but you
Please take notes from Warframe dev team. We don't have many devs like them now.
I have a question for a YT interview. What tips do you have for live streaming?
What tips? Just be yourself. Just be yourself. I know that a lot of people are like to imitate or so some bigger streamers and stuff like that, but like they're not here for you imitating a bigger streamer because they're gonna call you a bargain brand. You just be yourself. Just be yourself. That's it. That's why I'm always myself all the time. I'm not trying to pretend to be, a Shy Lily copy or a Iron Mouse copy or anything like that, People will like you the way you are, It's just how it is. That's like my one tip I can give.
Still build up heat the same speed, but it still feels weird, So this is something I do want them to adjust, and I think they will. Another thing to bring up is that you can't actually remove attachments on weapons once they're equipped to that weapon. This got really...
Wait a second. You're telling me you cannot take off attachments once you equip the attachment on the weapon? Wow, damn. Who decided to leave that in the game early production of the game? Wow, okay. All right. Even I know that you can take off attachments in some extraction shooters, you know? Even I know that, and I don't even play the genre.
Frustrating because I had like 3 different sniper rifles, and at one point I dragged a scope in my inventory. I was trying to like rearrange it, and I dragged the scope and let go of it on top of one sniper rifle that didn't have any other attachments. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean to put it there. I'll put it on the sniper rifle that I have the other attachments on, like the improved whatever it was, magazine or something. But I couldn't do that. So now I just had one sniper rifle with a scope on it, and then the other sniper rifle with a ton of other attachments on it, and I couldn't do anything. Like, it was just stuck. I couldn't disassemble the sniper rifle to remove the scope. It couldn't even like destroy it in the process. You're just stuck. And they
Thank you for
told
the
me
follow as
why
well.
it works this way, and apparently it's because they don't want you to like load your backpack up with a sniper rifle and then use a bunch of attachments that you found on a dead player's body, move them into that sniper rifle, and extract with that basically as a mini backpack within your backpack to carry even more attachments and stuff. But I just like, I get why, but I think just reward the player for doing that. If they're sneaking out with a massive sniper rifle in their backpack, reward them with getting to bring out the attachments and put them where they want them to go. So
well, that's the whole point of an extraction shooter, is to get the loot and extract with the loot. Wow, this is weird.
this is one where I understand the reasoning. I just don't like it. So I want to be able to remove
No,
attachments.
no, there is no reasoning in this. This makes no fucking sense. The whole point of the game is called a looter extraction shooter. You know, this is you're looting, you're shooting, you're extracting with the loot that you got, which is the attachments. You know, maybe you want to use these attachments on a different gun. You know, that's what I'm saying. I don't get this. I do not understand the devs for having that implemented into the game. I don't even play like extraction shooters, like, whatsoever. But I'm like, I can't even understand the concept of, like, it's like, oh, okay, I got this red dot sight, I'm gonna put it on my assault rifle, but I want to use this red dot sight on my SMG that I have in my vault or so back at base, I'm just gonna do that instead, I don't know. Nako, it's restricted loot, duh. Okay, buddy, okay. I'm not even a dev and I fucking know this shit. I know what the players want. Shit.
From weapons. Otherwise, it's infuriating to have an attachment accidentally pop it on this weapon, and now you just can't use that at all, basically. Because either you have to find 3 other attachments to make that one weapon as good as the other one, or you just give up on the scope and just focus on the weapon with the other attachments. It's really infuriating. And I hope that they change that. But that brings me to the big money question at the end of all of this, which is, how much does this game cost? I'm glad you asked, because I asked and they wouldn't tell me. I asked like 3 different people. I asked one of the AI engineers and he said, oh, I know how much it costs. I'm not going to tell you though. I was like, okay, fair enough. I asked the game director, also wouldn't tell us. I asked one of the senior designers, also wouldn't tell us. I even asked one of the PR people that didn't even work at Bungie, worked at like a separate company. And he said he knew how much it was going to cost and he wouldn't tell us. So maybe when they do the gameplay reveal, which is like in 2 days from when I'm filming this, maybe they're going to reveal the price then. And future Luke will
do we have the game reveal for it? We're going to take a look at it if it's true.
The time I'm filming this video, I don't know how much they're charging for it. I don't know if it's 40. I feel like if it was free to play, they would have told us. And they sort of slyly said, I know how much it costs, which implies it has a cost and it's not free to play. So I would imagine it's somewhere between 40 and 70. Frankly, for me, 70 feels aggressive for this. Like I said, the maps are really small. And you're gonna get
no. Don't you charge $70 for this game?
Even then, there's going to be other monetization in this game that we'll talk about in a second. I think 70 would be aggressive for this, just being transparent and honest. And that's a sentiment I know a lot of other people I spoke to that were playtesters as well. They also echoed that sentiment where they're like, 40 maybe, yeah, I could see that. 70, so we'll see. But
40 is still kind of a stretch though. I'd say like 30. 30 is like the sweet spot. 20 would be amazing, but 30 would probably be the sweet spot. 40 is kind of like, it's like maybe I'll just wait on a sale for this game. When this game goes on sale, then I'll pick it up. It's like,
But I would heavily recommend to them to not push it that hard, because when you add in other monetization and there's not that much
Oh
in
yeah,
terms of
true.
dynamic or scope, it feels like that.
They're gonna add skins for this game, so that's the reason why.
It's a little much, but I don't know anything more than that. As for secondary monetization elements such as paid cosmetics and
Battle
things,
Pass.
I did ask them about that. However, whenever any of us would ask any of the team at Bungie about like an in-game store, for example, they wouldn't tell us what they were doing. They would simply say, what would you like to see? What would you expect to see? And I can understand that they want to know what we would expect. They don't want to tell us what they're thinking before like hearing us out, I guess. But they wouldn't be specific. They said they're thinking of doing skins, of course, what they would call shells, basically different looks for the little android characters. They did.
That's the problem. That is one of the problems, Dubstep, is because Sony's behind, behind greenlighting this project, right? I assume this is part of the project, what I said before earlier, that this was one of the 12 or 10 live service games that was being worked on throughout the years. So I'm like, I hope Sony realizes that they cannot go farther than $40. They cannot.
To us though that they did not want to do cosmetics that were going to break the artistic integrity of the game, I think is the phrase that they used. Basically, they don't want to run into like the Call of Duty problem where they have neon pink unicorn skins for everything. They said they still want each and every shell or skin to feel like it exists in this world and it's not totally out of place, which for me I like. As much as I would love a Bigfoot skin in Call of Duty or something, I do think that something is lost when you just start selling anything and everything for the sake of a quick buck. So hearing them say that they want to keep the art style integrity intact,
interesting.
I appreciate that. But
that could kill it, or that could make it feel like, it's going to be niche, that's,
They mention skins, they mention things like little bitty trinkets hanging from weapons, stickers you could maybe put on your character's helmet or hands or the weapon itself. They mention things like that. They also mentioned multiple times a battle pass, which again is why I feel like doing $70 and an in-game store with all these cosmetics and a battle pass. I think we're pushing the boundary a little bit. If it's 40 or 30, okay, we can talk.
Yeah.
But I do want to just bring that up, that it seems like they either don't have the monetization settled yet,
bunch of
or
scalping
they
coworkers.
do, and they didn't want to
Yikes.
tell us about it. Make
That's
of
not
that what
good.
you will. One other thing I will give them credit for is that they have announced in the last week or so that the game will apparently not require a PSN account on PC or Xbox.
Really?
And it will support full cross-play and cross-progression, meaning you can play on
that's
your
pretty
PC
cool.
and then move over to your family room and keep playing on the TV
That's cool.
on your Xbox.
That's pretty cool. I'll give them a W for that.
That's really cool,
Yeah.
especially after all the Helldivers stuff. I wasn't sure if PlayStation was going to force them to do PSN account stuff here. It would have been just frankly really, really freaking funny if they had made people sign up for a PSN account while playing on Xbox. I mean, that would have been hilarious, but they're not. Apparently, they're going to allow you to just play it with your Bungie account, which I'm sure shares all of your data with PlayStation regardless.
Okay.
But
never mind.
I'll give them credit where it's due.
Yeah.
But having said all of this, it goes back to the core question with all of these game previews and play tests. Did you have fun and would you play again? And for me, the answer is an unequivocal yes. I had a good time. There are definitely things I would change, and there were things that were frustrating and things that need tweaking, sure. But it's an alpha playtest. It would be really, really weird if
we
things
talk
were
about
perfect
everything
and
around here,
super
fabulous.
polished out the ass everywhere. Like, it's an alpha. Things are going to change.
Yeah, of course,
and they
it's
made
an
it clear
alpha.
multiple times that they anticipate things changing, and they want player feedback to inform those choices and changes, which is exactly what you should hope to see for a game like this. Speaking of hoping to see, though, I hope to see more information about the ranked mode and about this 4th level that's coming after launch. You see, when we first arrived at the studio, they asked us to go into the Bungie Theater, where they do sort of group presentations for all the devs. We all loaded into that theater, and then they did like a little talk, just telling us basically what was going to happen while we were there, kind of itinerary, we're going to be playing on this map, blah, 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 normal stuff. But they said their goal for Marathon was to make it a Revolution in the extraction shooter space. Like, this was going to be a revolutionary project. And I asked one of the senior designers.
So this is supposed to be revolutionary, but you're taking a lot of the core identity from Apex Legends, putting it into Marathon, but you're just making it into an extraction shooter, and it's only going to have like 3 maps, and they're all going to be pretty small to medium-ish. I don't even know if there even is going to be a large map, right? And you're going to have a 4th map, which is for like higher ranked tier loot, and then you're going to have a ranked mode for an extraction shooter. I'm trying to think how revolutionary can you make this? I can think of something how I can probably make this game, or if I've ever made my own extraction shooter, revolutionary. I can think of it. It's like for me, I can like amalgamate the environmental weather stuff from Battlefield, and then the destructiveness from Battlefield up to the highest level or so, with like movement from like Apex, or like from Titanfall, you know? Like I can think of that off the top of my head right now, you know? That's what I'm thinking for revolutionary, quotation marks, revolutionary, you know? I don't know what you guys think about it. I don't know. I just kind of think of it at the spot right now, you know? When they talk about size, they mean in comparison in other extraction shooters. I don't know about that, to be honest. The game is raw. No matter how you look at it, we will need to wait at least 8 months before they polish it and stuff. Yeah, of course I know. It's all early shenanigans. But like saying revolutionary though, off the bat or so in an alpha test is kind of a crazy thing. Marathon made a tweet that the game is a premium title, but not a full price game, whatever that means, more in summer. Destructible environments with Titanfall movements would be wild. You can't do that, Ko. What do you mean I can't do that? I think that would be fun, you know? Environmental weather hazards, environmental freaking destructible environments, you know? Those already got patent. Not destroying a building. Destroying a building is fucking not patent, okay? I'd like to mention that this paid game it has no story written yet. Oh yeah, true as well. So you're basically paying, depending the pricing of the game itself, you would probably pay a certain price or so to play a live service game, and that's it, you know? That's all you're paying for.
At lunch
PvP.
that day, what he thought was revolutionary about the game.
Just one game mode,
there's
basically.
a lot of cool ideas. They're bringing little bitty things in from all these other games. But what is revolutionary? And he told me, I think the ranked mode and that 4th map will be really revolutionary. The
Oh, really? Really, huh? So ranked mode and the 4th map is what makes this game revolutionary. Man, I don't know. Man, I was so looking forward to the mage-based battle royale where you can control the elements. Forget the name of it. Heard of it? I don't remember, to be honest. I think I've heard of it a long time ago, though. Is it because they said they would add raid mechanics to one of the maps? The mechanics better be giving me dome. I know that the 4th map is supposed to give you like better loot, but you start off with purple loot. Like you have to start off with purple loot to get like more better loot. That's all he really said about the 4th map. And then just ranked mode. That's not really much information on the ranked mode, but that's kind of, you know, that kind of it. So, but Dubstep said that this is a premium, this is a quote-unquote premium title. If they charge $50, $60, or $70 for this game, for this premium title, this game is gonna die. This game will be dead in the water. No joke. This game would be dead.
4th map comes after launch. I don't know if they're going to charge for it separately or
Whoa, wait a second. Wait, the 4th map is not coming out on the launch day, but is coming after the launch day? So on launch day, you're only having 3 maps instead of 4. Okay. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna question anything, to be honest, at this point. I'm not a
I don't
dev.
think they
I don't know.
yet. They also refused to show us anything about it. They said it was going to be really cool. It's going to break your brain. It's going to blow you away. There's all sorts of really cool meta things going on. They're very excited about it. That was very, very clear, but they wouldn't tell us anything about it. So I have no reason to be excited about it besides their excitement for it.
Yeah.
And then the ranked mode, I asked them about as well. I asked the game director about it. I asked one of the senior designers about it. And I kid you not, they had like nothing really clear to say. I asked them about it and I was like, so is it coming at launch? And they said, yeah, I think we're planning on getting it out at launch. Maybe we do a buy-in where it's like, in order to load into silver lobbies, you have to have a loadout worth 3,000 credits or 4,000 credits or 5,000 credits. Gold lobbies, platinum lobbies, whatever it is, those higher lobbies require even greater buy-in. So it's super high risk, high reward to grind it. I was like, okay, that could be cool. Also really infuriatingly frustrating because if you lose that stuff and you have like super S tier endgame items and that all goes to another one of the S tier guys that's been grinding forever to get that gear because he won the ranked match, that I could imagine also would be super infuriating and also
Thank you for the follow.
Destabilize it because now they lost like 20% of their total character's value worth of goods because they lost that ranked match. So they were like, we're still going back and forth with ideas. We don't really know exactly how it'll work. It could be totally different than that, but these are our ideas. And
that's a problem. That's a problem. That is that's already immediately a red flag already, right? It's not Doom. It's not Doom or anything like that, but it's a red flag that they don't have a stable platform of where the direction of where this is going to go. Like it's shaky. Like it's really shaky because they don't know what to do. Like there's no consistency, on that specific, that specific department on the quote unquote ranked this ranked play mode game mode or so. If it's gonna come out on launch day,
that brings me to maybe the biggest point with all of this is that they told us this game is launching in September. And if you're watching this video, it's after maybe the biggest point with all of this is that they told us this game is launching in September. And if you're
oh my. Oh no. Wait. This game is an alpha. It's not a beta. And it's gonna release in September. Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. Oh goodness gracious me. So chat, do you guys want to pay $70 for a beta game, for a beta test? Man isn't even dead on arrival. They shot in the back of the ambulance. So nuts, they're gonna make the new Squirrel movie. What is so bad about September? No, this game is an alpha. They played the alpha and they only took their feedback and they're releasing this game in September. It's not even a beta. It's just an alpha. And they're charging premium. This is a premium title, quotation marks, premium title. If they charge a premium price for this thing, on top of all of the cosmetic stuff and everything, the battle pass, the skins, the trinkets, the stickers, the fucking all this shit, there's the problem. This game is going to become a problem. How many months do they have? Let me see. Let me see. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 months to change this game from alpha to beta and a final release. Oh man, I don't know about this one, Chief. I don't know about this one. Hey, Dawson. Oh, there's a lot of red flags about this game already immediately. Not long enough to even birth an actual baby. That's not even a lot of development time either. Because I know game development takes a while or so, especially from going from an alpha phase to a beta phase and then the final release, you know? But they're like, so they're gonna do a beta in like 3 months or something? Like, is it gonna change into a beta in 3 months and then 3 months after that is gonna be the final release of the game? Because it's 6 months in total. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I don't know, man.
If you're watching this video, it's after the gameplay reveal, and so you know that as well. That's like 5 months away, and they told us that they hope to have the ranked mode done by then, but they can't tell us like anything about it because I don't think they know anything about it because they're still designing it. So like,
oh God. I think the ending part of what I'm listening a lot more, the ending part is concerning. Remember when devs would actually finish the game before they launched it? Wild. I know. No, they said it would not be full price, but who knows that they will ask us to pat below 70. It won't be 70 dubstep. It's gonna be $69.98. That's what they're gonna charge. $69.98 is what they're gonna charge.
No.
Jesus Christ. So, okay, so they don't know anything about the rank thing because they're still developing it at this very moment. And the game is in alpha. It's not even in a beta phase. So wait. Wait. Hold up. No. So they've been working on this for 2 years. So they've been working on this for 2 years. And this is in alpha. And they're expected to release the game in September. The game has been okay. So Bungie revealed the marathon on PlayStation 2023 of May 24th of 2023. In August of 24. Wait. Revealed. Wait. The showcase on May 24th of 2023. In August of 2024, Bungie underwent the restructuring, resulting into layoff approximately 17% of its workforce, which impacted the development and timeline of Marathon. The game has been in the works for over 4 years with 300 plus developers. So this game has been in the works for over 4 years. Take care, Voji. Get some good rest. Thank you for coming by, as always. Bungie could get like Nintendo and say, if you can't buy it, play Destiny 2. Do we have the ballpark on their budget? Let's see. What's their let's find out real quick. Let's see. Sorry. What is the budget for Marathon, the video game? So the budget for Marathon video game hasn't been officially disclosed. Okay, so we don't know yet. Okay. But reports suggest that it will be priced at $40. Okay, not a full price title like $70. This would put it in line with other live service games like Helldivers and the ill-fated Concord. Wait, Concord costed $40? This game will be available on PlayStation, Xbox Series, and PC and won't require PlayStation Plus. Interesting. Ooh, I'm not spending $40 on this game. I'm not. I don't think this game is gonna survive. Their budget is that Sony money. That's very true. I feel like this is gonna... If I'm gonna take... Okay, how much was Concord? Let me see. $400 million. And this took about what? A spam about like 8 years of development, I think, right? Take care, take care. Thank you, thank you. Let me see. So Concord budget, so it's like $400 million, right? Not counting all the other stuff, right? I don't mean to alarm you, but you seem to have a spherical yellow bird on your head. Yeah, that's Kakko. It's Birchan. They should be paying you $40 to play their not beta game. That's true. That's true. So it's gonna be $40. It's gonna be roughly about $40. Wait. So Conquer was $400 million. Okay, let me see. $40. How long did Concord game take to make? So 8 years. Marathon has been in development for about like 4, maybe more than 4 years. Let's say about like 5 to 6 years. And it costs about $400 million or so to make for Concord, right? A little bit more than 400 million. I'd say... I'm gonna say either 250... I'm gonna say between 200 and 300 million dollars. That's what I'm gonna go for. Scam card, I would pay F Sony India as, and I would like to get paid 400 million too. Guys are a real legend. I feel like that's gonna be the pricing for this game. It's gonna be between like 200 to 300 million, somewhere around there. I think that's where the price is gonna be for this game, or at least the development time or so. Because if this took 8 years of development, right? And then Marathon is about a little bit over 4 years, right? I'm gonna say that's where the estimate. I'm just estimating, so we don't know anything just yet. So I don't know about this, chat. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of tingling sensation that this game is not gonna do well.
Like, it's fine if it comes after launch. Just tell me that. Like, that's why I asked them, is it coming before launch or after launch? They weren't really clear, but that means that the two things that they're most excited about, if it is delayed till after launch, that means that the ranked mode and that 4th map both are coming after it launches. And those are the two things they consider to be revolutionary that set this game apart. And
Wait a second. Can you repeat that again?
that means that the ranked mode and that 4th map both are coming after it launches. And those are the two things they consider to be revolutionary that set this game apart. And
okay, there's problems with that specific segment, chat, okay? Number 1, this whole revolutionary thing that's supposed to come to this game, right? It's gonna come out after the game is released. So patch 1.01 is when this game is basically when the actual revolutionary thing happens to the game, right? Number 2, the second problem about this situation here itself, it's going to only cater to a very small percentage of the audiences. Because you want to know something? Ranked people is not for casuals. Ranked people is for the hardcore die fans for Marathon. And then that other map or so, the 4th map specifically, it's only going to be the die-hard fan base that's going to enjoy that. I don't think a casual is going to go in there with their purple loot and everything and then fucking die off and then never get to see this whole revolutionary thing, you know? So before the first patch, it's not revolutionary. Shocker. No, it's not revolutionary. So when the game fucking releases, it's not even going to be revolutionary. It's just going to be a basic extraction shooter. You mean patch 1 revolution? Dude, the more that I keep listening to this, the more I'm having more issues about it, and like the more criticism I have about this game. And I'm not even a dev. Like I'm not even a dev. Like it feels like I know what the gamers want when it comes to video games. But I'm not even a dev who makes games. Like, it's because I played so many video games. I understand what the player base, what the fan base, what the gamers want when it comes to video games. But it's like, I don't even work in this field. Not yet, anyways. But when I do open up my studio, right, in the far future, I'll know what my audiences want. So, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry if like the thing that sets your game apart is a promise of content in the future. I feel like I'm justified in being like, okay, well then why not delay it? Why not push it back until you have that stuff in the package day one? It feels weird to buy your game with the promise of the revolutionary thing that justifies it coming later. You know, I think what they have now, what we played, is a good time. It's a fun game. I don't think it's worth 70 personally, but I could see buying it for 30 or 40 and having a good time with friends.
You will own an unfinished game, be happy.
Stuff that you're going to bring to the table is coming probably after launch. That's just weird to me. And it reaffirms something that I heard throughout my time at the studio, which is them continuing to say the game was very early. They're still early in development, that things are going to change a lot because they're early, stuff like that. And again, they're 5 months out.
Wait. Can I do one more research real quick? Let me do one more research real quick. Okay, hold on. We'll ask, hold on. ChatGPT, can you tell us the answer, ChatGPT? Give us the answer, ChatGPT. Here, let me see. Let's find out. I just need to know. Okay? Let me find out. Okay, let me see. So Bungie's upcoming marathon is scheduled for release on September 23rd, 2025 with a closed alpha test beginning Wait, alpha test? Wait. Well, Bungie officially announced Marathon on May 24th of 2023 during the PlayStation Showcase. It's likely that the pre-production and planning began earlier, possibly in 2022 or even late 2021. This suggests that the development cycle approximately 3 to 4 years from initial planning to full release. The closed alpha test is to run from April 23rd to May 4th of 2025. Hey. This phase typically includes core gameplay elements, but may still be rough around the edges and ongoing based on player feedback. Sorry, for a large scale multiplayer focused game like Marathon, a 3 to 4 year development period from planning to release is expected to range. The alpha stage concurring in 5 months before launch allows the crucial testing refinement. But hold on. For a AAA game, so the planning phase is 6 to 12 months. So about, let's say about a year, right? About a year for the planning phase, right? The alpha stage reached in 1.5 to 1.5 to 3 years. For example, Grand Theft Auto 5 had a preliminary work starting in 2008, with the full development lasting approximately 3 years before its 2013 release. Okay. So let me see. So so Marathon was announced in 2023. Okay, so let me see. If Marathon was released, was announced, my bad, sorry. Was announced in 2023, and they are in alpha. In September. Shit, I can't spell. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. Let's see. There's an appropriated time window for alpha. For alpha, if the marathon was announced in 2023, and they are saying it would be an alpha in 2025. September is the appropriate time window for alpha. Acceptable. Let me see. I'm just trying to take a look at a lot of this, so. Okay, it's not gonna tell me. Hold on. Maybe we can take this out. So let's take this out real quick. Let's ask it again. I don't think ChatGPT is helping me out. They're just trying to advertise. They're just trying to advertise the game itself. So that's 2 years from an announcement to an alpha and 4 months from alpha to release. Yes, for a AAA game, multiplayer game, it is pretty standard and reasonable. So the AAA dev cycle, like Bungie, often runs from 3 to 5 years, and games are usually announced after 1 year of internal devs. Alpha doesn't always mean super early. Okay, but the developers said it's early. And they haven't completed their rank and their 4th revolutionary map. Now it's very telling. If the developers themselves are saying it's early, then they haven't finished the core rank system or their 4th map. That's not typical for an alpha, just a few months out from launch. What it likely means they are still calling it early, developing ranked mode systems, building maps, especially a revolutionary one. So this so-called alpha might really be a late stage pre-alpha or a tech test dressed up with a marketing label. Bungie with other big studios sometimes rebrand internal milestones to fit schedules. For example, let's call it alpha for the public, even though it's more like a system test. Red flags for September release. Yes, a few. Core systems like the rank mode should be well into polish and testing before alpha. Maps, especially key ones, should already be playable, if not content locked. With only 5 months to go, there are very little time to finish content, balance competitive mode, bug fixes based on the alpha and beta feedback. So what's the plan here? Either the release date is overly ambitious and delays are likely, or the initial release will be light, fewer features / maps, early access vibes, or Bungie is crunching hard and Q&A polish may suffer. In short, if the devs are still actively building core content and saying that the alpha is early, then the game is not in a true alpha state, and a September launch would be either risky or shallow in scope. So, damn. That is curious. Damn, ChatGPT exposed the game. It's basically a 0.5. That's very interesting. That is a very interesting to hear about that, to be honest. I knew it. Why not all 3?
Of launch. So that to me does not sound very early. You know, I start to get the feeling like maybe this is going to be a mad rush at the end to get this game done. Maybe Sony was just like, we have to get it out before GTA Online. Figure it out. Put it out by September. Whatever is ready at launch, put it out and just go from there. I get the feeling like they're being pushed and rushed.
It does feel like it, to be honest.
They have been working on this game for like a solid 6 years. And I mean, even Dr. Lupo was saying that he consulted on this for like 5 to 6 years. And, you know, you can tell there's a lot of feedback and a lot of careful consideration and stuff, but it feels like some of these big important things, like the ranked mode, are coming together kind of haphazardly at the end. And that just gives me pause, because I would have thought 5 months out of the launch of a massive game like this, they would at least be able to tell me how the ranked mode will work.
Yeah, exactly.
And as of right now, they don't know how it works either, which is weird.
That's concerning, to be honest.
At the end of the day, you shouldn't buy things on the promise of what it will be in the future.
Yep.
You should buy it based on what it is today.
Yep.
What the game is today, I think, is a fun game. I had a good time. I don't think what they have here is necessarily revolutionary, though.
Exactly.
They say that the ranked mode and that 4th map will be revolutionary, but it seems like that's coming at a later date, in which case I would just say only like buy this game if what it is seems interesting. Don't buy it on the promise of what it will be.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But again, I just want to say thank you to Bungie for the opportunity to play test it and to check out the game. I had a really good time, and again, I'm pleasantly surprised at how much I liked it, and I'm excited to see what the game looks like when it all comes together in the later play tests and in the eventual launch version as well. And who knows, maybe they will come together and figure all of this out and launch with ranked mode and all this crazy stuff. Maybe it's all going to come together very suddenly at the end, but we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if that
It's out right
mode
now.
ends up
We'll take a look at the
pushed back till
trailer
after
after
launch.
this.
Because I don't know, it just seems like it would be surprising if they could throw it together this quick, but maybe they can. They are wizards after all. But that's gonna do it for me. Thank you for watching.
I don't know if Bungie is called wizard. Maybe a pyrotechnician, because you want to know something? Their Destiny 2 community is on fire. I don't know if it's still on fire, but Bungie is good with pyrotechnician though. They like to burn things up, you know? So there is that as well. I mean, I say it's generous to even call it a game at this point. True. Anyways, I know the video is long and everything like that. I get it. The video is like 1 hour and 30 minutes, but we had to dissect this specific video. We had to take a look at it. We had to do some research. We had to ask ChatGPT. We had to break down everything what this guy has said completely about the game itself. And yeah, I'm pretty concerned about this game, you know. I see a lot of crunch time from the devs. It feels like crunch time in my personal opinion. I stopped playing Destiny 2 long ago. Yeah. I know this video is long and everything like that. I don't know if anyone is going to watch it or so, like completely through the end, but yeah. I like to analyze a lot of things and look into things when it comes to this itself. And yeah, we're going to be taking a look at the trailer as well for Marathon. So the Marathon trailer is already out. We're going to take a look at it, but that is the end of this video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. And same, the final shape is my last and I leave it like that. I see. But yeah, you guys can tell me what you guys think in the comment sections, what we just talked about, what I just emphasized specifically about the game itself. I'm not even a dev, and I can say that it's not revolutionary. So, anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video. And peace. That's good. Looking at it and looking at all the info before coming to a conclusion is the best way to go about it. I recommend people not to buy it. Don't spend $40 on a alpha / beta, live, early access, basically. Don't pay for an early access game. This feels like an early access game, in my personal opinion. Will it get better? Yes, but it's no excuse the way how it's going to be released. But anyways, but people like to use that excuse, always saying like, it'll get better, it'll get better. Stop being so negative. Stop being so negative, Nyaru. It'll get better with updates. No, it should be good on its release date because you want to get those people on board onto your game. But hey, that's just me anyways. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace.